Hey guys, so you're probably curious, why am I here with you today? Well, I got a pretty important message for a certain someone. Woo! Fuck Bama, fuck Saban. We want Bama, we want Tennessee, baby. It feels like 98 again. Natty chance. Woo! Tennessee! Rocky Top Tennessee. Fuck Bama!
Welcome back, boys. We got the Week 6 recap heading your way. The weather's starting to get colder. We're approaching the halfway point of the regular season, and we will see which teams rise and fall as we close out the regular season and head into the playoffs. Nick, good to see you again. How are things going this week?
Things are going pretty well. We had a couple games that kind of came down to the wire yesterday, so kind of excited to dive in on these and really tell the story on what happened this week.
Very well put. Let's not keep the people waiting then. Very first game of the week, we had FaZe Kev continuing to blow the league away. They get another impressive victory, their second Kiffin Award of the season with 157-130 victory over PC Principal. And Josh Allen has continued to pay off as a quarterback acquisition that FaZe Kev wanted when they got him a couple years ago. We are now through week 6, and he has yet to score under 27 points in a game. When you play consistent like that, it's just always going to be hard for the other team to come get you. They're always going to have to put up a really good week. You're never just going to give games away. Eckler managed to find the end zone with the Chargers' only touchdown in their victory over the Broncos. He was able to get 21. And then Pittman had 24 without a touchdown. He had a solid day. The Colts were throwing a lot as they came all the way back against the Jaguars. And, yeah, other than that, just some solid performances throughout. No one else had a bad day except for Kareem Cunt, but the whole league is okay with that one. And, yeah, just another impressive victory by FaZe Kev. This team has definitely looked like they're turning around this year. They sit in first place currently, tied with Cleveland Steamers. We'll see if they're able to keep their foot on the gas towards the end of the season.
They actually do have the tiebreaker on us right now. So I know that Sleeper says one thing, but FaZe Kev is in outright first place at the moment since they do have us head-to-head. Just wanted to make sure that was.
I don't call it outright until you have the record, at least at this point in the season.
But all right.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. He's got the Kiffin Awards. I think he's been the best team so far, so I just want to give him his props. Looking over at Coop here, they kind of had 3 major players come to play this week, that being Alvin Kamara, Breece Hall, and Tyreek Hill. Kamara finished right around 100 yards. Breece Hall absolutely decimated my Packers, 116 yards, touchdown. Tyreek Hill, 177 yards. All played great. But the 2 dud performances here that kind of, kept PC Principal from making a run at it were Curtis Samuel, 1.6 points on that Thursday night shit show of a game, and Cam Brate, 2.4, as he actually ended up going out with injury again. So hope for, good health for him. This is the second time he's been going out with injury so far this year. And then Coop's defense did play pretty well. 23 points, north of 20 is always great to see from your defense. But that wasn't able to overcome those kind of 2 dud performances in the middle of his lineup. He scored enough points to beat most of the teams this week, but unfortunately just ran into FaZe Kev putting up 157. So some good things for PC Principal here, but definitely some things that need to clean up going into next week as well.
And we'd also like to note that is PC Principal's second Lions Award of the season. All right. Moving on, second game of the week. We had Glizz Mafia getting the second win that they really needed, 121-85 over a struggling Francy Feast squad who also falls to 2-4.
Let's talk about him, baby. Kenneth Walker season is upon us. Spartan dog, 20 points, almost 100 yards, touchdown as he finally was able to get the lead back roll there in Seattle, and he did not disappoint in his NFL season debut as a starter, per se. So Kenneth Walker's season's upon us. We love to see it as Spartan Dogs. Glizz loves to see it because there's a running back on his team now that's putting up points. We had a couple other players come to play. Miles Sanders, 15.2 points as he was able to find the end zone. A.J. Brown was also able to find pay dirt in the Sunday night game. And also Amari Cooper, even though the Bruins were being the Bruins, but he was able to sneak in for a touchdown at the end of the game. Glizz Mafia, love to see that. And then kind of some decent performances down the board here. Gerald Everett solid, CD Lamb solid, Greg Joseph not the greatest day. Philadelphia defense pretty solid. Scoring 120 points in kind of the week where 120 points was getting you a victory as long as you weren't playing FaZe Kev. So Glizz Mafia has definitely got to take this, kind of getting them back on track per se, and hoping that they can build off this in the coming weeks here.
All right, on the flip side here, Francy Feast finds the Lemp award in the part of the season they really did not want to see it. They followed 2-4 after going to the Toy Bowl and into the lake last year. This is just not the start their fans wanted to see out of them. Ramondre Stevenson was really the only one on this team who showed up this week. He found the end zone twice in that absolute beatdown of Cleveland that the Patriots had. Kyler really had a mediocre day. The Cardinals were probably even less happy about it than Francy Feast was, only 20 points. And outside of that, just no one else on this team really showed up. No one else getting even double digits. Melvin Gordon, less than 1. The Packers got the 12 they started with, but that was just not going to cut it. And this is going to be an uphill climb for this team to avoid a repeat appearance in the Toilet Bowl time of the year. Third game up, we had the first of our 2 dramatic finishes on Monday Night Football, as Pams would hold on to squeak out the victory and their first Viper Award of the season, 111-109. Dalvin Cook was able to get a touchdown to put him in the teens. I'm sure Pams was happy to see that. Cooper Kupp with 17, which is like, okay, but this franchise is usually expecting more points out of him. He's been the number 1 receiver in football these last 2 years, at least from a fantasy perspective. So that's a little bit low for him, but I'm sure they're very happy to see George Kittle finally getting out of pass pro for a hot second, putting up 14 on 10 targets this week. This is the first time he's hit double digits on the season. And then Buffalo's defense with a modest 15. They continue to hold their spot as number 1 fantasy defense on the year. 15 is not a ton, but it would be enough for them this week. They're able to hold on and squeak out a nice 2-point victory over the Philly Cheekles.
For the Philly Cheekles here, let's start with Justin Herbert. 12 points is never something you really want to see out of your starting quarterback, especially one of Justin Herbert's caliber. It did seem a little fishy, though, that they did have that super boost on DraftKings. Was it -800 to +100 for Justin Herbert to score a touchdown? I kind of looked at that and was like, this is going to be some bullshit, isn't it? I didn't end up taking it. I know a bunch of my buddies who ended up taking it. Not looking so hot today, but, sports betting in itself is a fucking scam, so we'll get to that later. Kind of going off here on some of the other dud performances on the Philly Cheekles. Jeff Wilson, 0.5 points. That's never going to cut it for a starting running back on a team. Cortland Sutton, 2.9 points, as Denver's offense still doesn't seem to figure it out quite yet. We're 6 weeks into the season. That's definitely not something you want to see. The rest of the performances weren't too bad. Nothing too great. I mean, to be completely honest, nobody outside of Deion Jackson, who frankly was a star of the show this week, won a lot of people their weeks coming in and filling in for Jonathan Taylor, scoring 27 points in that RB1 spot for the Indianapolis Colts. But frankly, nobody else really for the Philly Cheekles decided to show up. So shout out Deion Jackson for, getting added to this team and really showing out his first week. But the rest of the team just didn't really come prepared. So Philly Cheekles are really going to need to get their boys ready for next week, because they cannot have a performance like this again out of their team.
All right. I'd prefer not to talk about this next game, but I don't see any way around it. So let's just get through it. We took the boys on the road to Chicago this weekend. We had a hard, tough-fought game. We looked like we were going to come out with the W, but Cleveland Steamers, they took it to us, and Nick, your team was able to get your squad was able to get the dub in the end. Tell everyone how you took it from me.
I'm not going to lie to you. I was kind of sitting sitting in bed after the Sunday night games and thinking about, oh man, what are we gonna go out and say? And to be frankly honest, like I was planning on coming out here and just doing a whole ass rant about the flaccid ass play calling that Kevin Stefanski was doing on Sunday and sabotaging my boy Nick Chubb, but we got the win, so it's just gonna be a quick fuck you Stefanski and give me a full Chubb next week, baby. Let's talk about the people who did play well though. Leonard Fournette and Joe Mixon both scored huge touchdowns for us. Lenny was able to get 22 points, and Joe Mixon was able to get 17.8, but they both had huge touchdowns for us. Also wanted to shout out the receiving room again this week. Nothing too flashy from the receiving room, but Devonta Smith being able to find pay dirt, Rondale Moore being able to keep pace more or less with Marquise Brown was kind of all we could ask for during the week. Do want to point out, though, that Marquise Brown did get injured on the last play of the game. It did look like Tariq Woolen kind of rolled up on his foot, and then it does seem like it's going to be maybe a 4 to 6 week recovery process. So do want to wish the best for Marquise Brown and hope that he's back on the field and healthy relatively soon. But everybody else did pretty much exactly what they needed to do this week, or kind of what we expected. We didn't expect the Nick Chubb no touches. We didn't expect the Mahomes only 20 points. But we were able to kind of just squeak it out with some good special teams play. Also do want to point out that my defense is getting unjustly awarded 28 points against when we talked about in the last one, Jeff Wilson with those 0.5 points. Yeah, that was because that fucker fumbled and Atlanta took that shit back to the end zone. So 22 points against. I want my 1.8 points, but Travis is getting on Sleeper's ass already for it, so can't be mad at it. But my double-digit streak for defense will continue to next week. That 8.7 is a fraud. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so I'm on Twitter advocating for my opponent to get an extra 1.8 points. I don't ever want to hear the word collusion out of anyone's mouth ever again. I'm just going to put that on record. But anyways, over to our side of things. Big storyline for us. We brought in Geno Smith. He had an okay day. 17 points with no touchdowns. It's a double-sided coin. Could have been better. Could have been worse. Christian McCaffrey, 23 with no touchdowns, kind of the same double-sided coin, but we were happy to see. It looks like he's really starting to get things going. He also might be trying to improve his trade value. We're hoping to see him land in Buffalo, but that might be a little bit dreamy at this point. We'll flash down to our defense real quick because we got to get on their asses a little bit. Jacksonville finishes the day with 2. They were about 16, I want to say. Don't quote me on that, but I want to say about 16 points at halftime and just lost almost all of it in the second half and the game. So that was obviously not great. Everyone else on our team pretty much, though, scored teens. It looked like it wasn't going to matter, like we were going to cover. We had a big lead going into Monday Night Football. But like Nick said, Mike Williams over here only finished 2.7. He got absolutely swallowed by Patrick Surtain all night. And then McManus would do us in with 13.9. Nick would complete the comeback. We followed 3-3. We're not panicking. This is still a good effort from the boys, but this was a tough one to see. After we already have 2 Lions awards, we almost got our 3rd this week. We've been up against it this year, but, as they say, keep chopping. We're going to look forward. Our season's not done yet. And we also got to tip our cap to Nick, because Nick, this was a hell of a week and a great battle. We did enjoy it, even though we didn't come out on top.
Thank you. Kudos to you as well.
All right. 5th and final game of the week. Possibly the most dramatic. I guess that depends on what your personal favorite brand of drama is. But we had Wallace Pluto coming in and sneaking another victory out against Sticky Mistakes. They win 138-114. And the big question mark coming to management in the press conferences after this game is why they decided to take the field with one of their running back spots missing, leaving Darian Harrison. Despite him being hurt, he obviously got 0 points. But somehow it just would not matter for this team, as the rest of their players would pick up the slack. Jamar Chase came in. He got 2 touchdowns of his own, getting 32 points. The Bengals really needed that win over the Saints. Andrews also had a nice day. Definitely proven to be the value tight end that everyone expected him to be. 23 points with a tud. And then Saquon continues to be on this comeback tour, down putting all the haters to rest. 18 points of his own, including a tud. He's continued to be one of the best fantasy backs this year. And yeah, this team improves to 4-2, but I think the questionable management decisions that have not changed from years prior would lead their fans and most around the league to expect them to fall back out of the playoffs that they are currently in and find themselves in the mediocrity bowl once again. But we'll see. Maybe this is a different year for them. But can't be not starting your lineup. Results set aside. It just can't happen.
I'm still like debating if this is like the most high ass move we've ever seen or the biggest, like, I'm just going to throw my dick on the table and present it to everybody move in this league. Like, it was no effort at all to try to replace this running back position. It was just, fuck it. We have 5 defenses on this team. Yeah, we're just going to keep the defenses and just Damian Harris. Fuck it. We'll just go with 8 this week. But for sticky mistakes here, the bad luck just kind of keeps coming, and this one seemed preventable. You know, the wide receivers play well again, like they have been the entire season. Justin Jefferson, again, over 100 yards. Stephon Diggs, 150 yards and a touchdown, 30-point performance. But it's kind of hard to see who else really plays great outside of that. You know, Jalen Hurts had an okay game. You know, he's not going to be scoring 30, 40 points every week. So you know that every once in a while a 20-point performance is going to come. But like the running backs, like Najee Harris, outside of that touchdown that he scored, didn't do anything. Jonesy really didn't do anything. I mean, that's not really on him. He's not getting the opportunities at this point, but that's another conversation. Hurst didn't really do anything. Clyde the Glide didn't do anything. The fucking kicker only has 3 points. Like, this is just an all-time letdown from sticky mistakes here. Like, it's one thing when, you know, you're going up against like Kiffin Awards and you're putting up 150, 160 points and losing those games. Your fans can still be, you know, okay with that. It's like you put your best foot forward and, you know, you just kind of have to live with the results on those. But with this performance, like, it's one thing to lose to a Kiffin Award. It's one thing to have a bad week. It's another thing to lose to somebody who's only starting 8 fucking people in their lineup and just telling you, I'm going to give you a freebie, buddy, and I'm still going to beat your ass. So I'm not saying that the season's quite over for them or anything, but sitting at 1-5, you know, the Bama lost to Tennessee this past weekend. If things don't get turned around, things are going to start to get loud real fucking quick over at Sticky Mistakes, okay? So, Adam, this week, you know, this is going to be a big week for you. And my kind of PSA in the most respectful, nice way possible is you need to get your shit together this week and get this team on the field, because if you don't, things are going to get loud real quick.
All right, very well said. And with that, we will take a look ahead to the Week 7 schedule. First matchup, we got 2 teams coming off a loss, looking to get things right. Texas A&M is taking on the Francy Feast. Second matchup, we got Glizz Mafia taking on the Philly Cheekles. This is a key victory for both teams if either of them want to escape the toilet bowl. Third matchup, surprisingly, we have a matchup between 2 caddies, and they both have a winning record. Wallace Pluto taking on the canned Pams. Fourth matchup, we got Cleveland Steamers. They're going to be looking to silence the loudest franchise in the league. Nick, how do you plan on getting it done?
We can't have those flaccid-ass play calls from last week. Full chub ahead. That's what's going to get it done.
All right, and then finally, Sticky Mistakes, looking to catch any break they can get this year. But this is the toughest of teams to do against, going against 5-1 FaZe Kev. See if they're able to figure it out. Another exciting week of fantasy action ahead. Hope everyone actually sets their lineup this week. Nick, any parting thoughts or words of wisdom?
You know, hope everybody's doing well. Everybody's in good health, good spirits. And like Travis said, let's set our lineups this week fully. There's a lot of buys this week, so be on the lookout for that. And you know, we'll take a day off here and we'll get back at it in a couple days. Get your boys rested up here.
All right, boys. Have a good week. Peace out.